Hey guys, how you doing? It's Tom back with another video. On this video I wanted to talk about, can you live on $1,000 a month USD in the Philippines? Well, yeah, you can. You can. Um and you're going to have to either, but it's not going to be easy at all. Now, cuz you're either going to have to live in the total province area, where you can rent a Philippine style home, little small home, little one bedroom or one room home for like $100 a month, maybe if you're lucky, right? You can though in some provincial areas, you can find the rents are generally from $100 to $200 a month in those areas, right? But it's very like basic home, you know. Uh, You're not going to have any amenities in that home, or it's not going to be modern at all, probably. You know what I mean? It's going to be very basic. Um, and let's just kind of go through. I don't want to make a real long video here, but let's just go through some of your basic expenses. Right now, your electricity, even in the province, is going to be in some cases more expensive than it is in the cities. Okay, so just figure that your electrical bill, your electricity bill in these type of areas is going to be $100 a month. Okay, and it could be more than that. It just depends on if you have an air conditioning unit, or whatever. Because if you're probably going to have to buy one and have one installed or something, because some of these homes that you're going to rent for that price, they're not going to have air con already in there. Okay, so that's another expense, But I mean, let's just assume that you do or whatever. Okay, yeah, you can still figure on at least $100 a month. What's your food bill going to be? Well, I mean, in the bare bones minimum, right? If you cook all the time for yourself, and this is I'm talking about if you're by yourself, by the way. If you're a Westerner and it's just you, forget about girlfriend or wife. Although you could probably swing it, with maybe one other person, right? But you're both going to be living, this way, like very basic, right? But yeah, you're like I said, if you cook all the time and you go to the market and buy your food and vegetables and fruit or whatever, right? And if you do go to the market, by the way, have your Filipino wife or girlfriend do the shopping, because if you go with her, you're going to pay a higher price. You're going to pay the condo price for a lot of stuff. If there's no marked prices, which there often is not at a market, you're going to just, they're going to see you and it's like, cha-ching, they're going to add 20 pesos per kilo to everything you buy. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, you're going to spend at least, I mean, just bare bones, man, like probably $200 or $300 a month on food, right? At least 200. Okay. So now what? Now you're up to 400 now. This is very bare bones. It could be even more. The electric bill could be a little higher. And then it's like, okay, well, and this is also assuming, by the way, that you have absolutely no bills or payments like from the U.S., right? And you have no accounts. You don't have a Netflix account that's $10 a month. You don't have an Amazon account. You just have nothing. You're just basic, living, right? No other U.S. accounts at all, with payments. Okay. So what else do you have? What about the internet? Do you want the internet? I mean, because that's going to be probably $40. Let's just say $40 a month. It could be 50, it could be 30, but let's just say $40 a month. Okay. And then if you're not going to keep your U.S. phone carrier, like I just made a video on talking about that. If you just want to get a Philippine, SIM card and, get a cheap phone or bring a phone with you and then just use the Philippine SIM card. I don't know. I've never had that, so it's like, the load doesn't last forever though on those phones. I noticed, like for data and all that stuff. So, you're probably going to be spending very similar to what you would spend if you kept a certain US carrier. you know, you're probably going to be spending $20 to $30 a month on the phone, maybe more. Um, and God, I'm trying to think of if you have transportation or like a motorcycle or something like that, you're going to spend gasoline for it, maintenance for it, or a car, God forbid, if you buy a car. Um, so that's going to bump you up, right? Um, is there other there? Yeah. What about your visa, right? You're going to pay $60 a month for that. If you're on a tourist visa, you figure at least $60 a month, and then you got to go somewhere. You're going to have a transportation cost, like whether you have your own motorcycle or car, or whether you use taxis or grabs or trikes, right? So that could easily be $100 a month. Maybe more. You know, really, if you don't have your own transportation, it could be more than that. You could, if you have to go places a lot, and if you live in an area where, yeah, you need to take a trike every time you go to the market, or every time you go somewhere to the mall, for example, or whatever. You could easily spend $100 or maybe 200 on transportation. Um, God, what else is there? Your water bill, it's not that much. Water bill might be, whatever. Could be 1,000, could be $20, $30 a month or something like that, right? And maybe drinking water, you have to pay for that. Um, but that's not that much either, right? So, that combination could be like maybe 50, $60 a month, right? I don't have all this little whiteboard for you, with all this stuff written down, but I mean, I think, what are we at, like 500 or 600 a month now or something like that? Um, and there's other expenses, like what if you have medical or something like that, man? If you have a medical issue, which nobody plans for. Even guys when you come over here in your 60s, if you're in pretty good shape, especially, you're like, oh, I don't even worry about that. Well, you should, especially if you're riding a motorcycle in the Philippines. I don't care where you live, but if you're one of these guys that wants to ride a motorcycle and be like a local and all that, okay, you know, try to stay healthy though, man, because you're gonna find yourself. It's very easy to get in an accident here, on a motorcycle or a car, but especially a motorcycle because people don't see you, and stuff. So anyway, you and like I said, if you want entertainment, if you want to eat out once in a while or whatever, like I said, you can do this, okay? Especially if you're by yourself. But even if you're with a girlfriend, if she's, especially if she's a woman that's from the province, and she's used to living on very little money, with her family and stuff, you certainly could do this. But, it's not going to be like, I don't know what kind of life you're living in the U.S., you know what I mean? But man, it's going to get, if you lived a relatively sort of a working class or middle class life, and you didn't grow up in some rural area of the United States, living very basically and kind of on the poor side, if you were like I said, working class or above, it's going to be, you're going to find it difficult to live on that budget. You know what I mean? Or you could do it technically, and you won't be saving much money either, by the way. Like you're going to be, you'd be lucky if you save $100 a month, or you know what I mean? Maybe sometimes you could save 200, but like I said, if anything else happens, outside of this tight little mandatory budget items that I'm talking about here, if anything else happens, boom, there goes your monthly budget. You know what I mean? Like any kind of, injury or accident or just, I don't know, anything. So, but yeah, technically, can you live? Yeah, you know. Can you live in the city for that? Yeah, technically. I mean, again, you could find a studio apartment maybe somewhere in Manila. And it's not going to be in BGC probably or Makati or any of the real nice parts, but some of the other areas, parts of Quezon City or whatever, you could do it. You could probably find a place for 300 a month, right? Maybe even 200 a month, if you really look around, like especially if it's a studio or something like that, studio apartment. You might be able to find for 200 a month, but more likely it's going to be 300 a month US or close to it. 250 to 300 a month. And then, again, with you could add up everything else, all your other expenses, and yeah, technically you can do it as long as nothing else happens. As long as you get no surprises in life, right? Do we ever get surprises in life? Of course we do. Like so, yeah. And there are people out there. There's vloggers out there that'll say, "Oh yeah, you can live," And I'm telling you, yeah, technically you can live on 1,000 a month by yourself, especially. But what kind of life you're going to live? I mean, is it going to be just an existence? And if you're happy with that, like then yeah, you might be okay then. You know what I mean? But I just think a lot of guys coming from the West are going to want at least some basic modern conveniences. You know what I mean? Just basic stuff like not having to use an outhouse at your house or whatever, or just having like a semi-modern, halfway modern bathroom or whatever, and kitchen, and stuff like that. Just you know. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's all. I don't want to rattle on too long here, but that's my input on it, and take it as you may. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and have a great day. I'll see you later.